Well, the much anticipated Rapido EMD F40PHM-2 locomotive has arrived. In this video, we're going to show off some of its features from sound and lighting and all the incredible details on this locomotive, so stay tuned. The version we will be taking a look at in this video is the blue scheme, as they call it, error for 2000 plus, row number 186. This is an ESU Loc Sound DCC equipped model. Inside the box, you have the F40PHM-2 operator's manual. We will take a closer look at this later. Love the artwork on this cover. Rapido really hits it out of the ballpark with their unique manuals. And the stickers, can't forget Rapido stickers. Everyone knows I have enough of those already, but I always love more. This is a really neat one. They did the CB&Q Heritage Unit version as well in this run, and I think this is really neat. Pretty much a true statement. And your exploded parts diagram. Take the foam off. See the models and your typical packaging. This is kind of newer, seeing foam on the ends. I really like that. Let's get out of the box. We have the F40PHM-2 locomotive and the box's other contents spread out on the table. We're going to take a quick look at this operator's manual. If anyone on this video has ever owned Rapido stuff, you'll know they have their fair share of information, humor, and prototype photos in here of these locomotives. Very comprehensive. I really wish more manufacturers would do as good of a job as Rapido does in these manuals. I mean, everything you need to know is in this about this locomotive. It's really great. Coming over here to the model, you can really see how intricate this model is. Lots of fine details, which we will show off here soon when the locomotive is on the layout. So without further ado, let's get this on the layout. We have the locomotive on the layout. You can see it next to some of my Rapido Bud Gallery commuter cars that they offered last year. Great models, and we'll do some running with them in this locomotive here soon. Let's zoom in for a closer look at some of the amazing details on this locomotive. We have zoomed in to the cab of the locomotive to show off some of its detail. We'll start off here with the beacons. You've got your regular amber beacon and your red layover alarm beacon. These are both Prime Stratolite models made by Prime Manufacturing. They have 4 bulbs, which mimic a rotating beacon. And they have 2 of these on these units, and the red one is the layover alarm, which is explained inside the owner's manual in great detail. The horn looks great. We've got a P5A on there. That's correct to Metra. Did a really good job on that horn, actually. You got your gyro light with both the regular clear and the red emergency gyro light. And you can kind of see inside the cab, there is details. This cab is fully detailed and different painted items in the cab. It's not just one solid color. Super neat. We'll show that off a little closer, as good as we can without taking the engine apart. And even the dials on the control stand actually illuminate, and I will show that off. Super awesome feature. It's my first locomotive I've ever had that does this. Rapido has been doing this on other models. Great feature, and it really stands out more than you think it would. We're zoomed a little further out from the cab. You can see the roof-mounted air conditioners. Those were a later addition from Metra. From factory, from EMD, the ditch lights were installed. This is about the start of the ditch light era, so they came delivered with the ditch lights, which is kind of nice. You can see the lettering on the side of the cab is very crisp and well done. Metra named these after villages they went through, and even some people on certain locomotives. These were not delivered with the village logos on the side. This was later added on by Metra as well. Also get a close look at some stuff like the sand hatch and all these grab irons, and you got your steps here. It's just really neat look, and everything pops being painted white against this blue. Got your builder's plate down here under the flag. Lower down on the front of the locomotive, you can see the MU cables and the power receptacles for HEP. The rear has these as well, which I will show as well. Here's a side profile of the locomotive. You can see inside some of the painted cab details like I talked about. The All the lettering is very crisp on this model. Well done. The mesh grills, fantastic. I like this. I'll zoom in and show this here in a second. They have the handbrake chain. It's an actual chain. Really like that feature. Here is a close-up of the handbrake chain and the RTA logo. Here at the rear of the unit, you can really see the lift rings on the roof. More grab irons, another actual chain. I love these real chains. That would be to go across the door for shove moves so you could open the door and look out. No one would fall out, you have something in front of you. And you got your MU cables, just like on the front, very nice. Well, that's not all the sounds this locomotive has. We'll go over more, but I want to take a quick pause before we get too far along to talk about the lighting functions on this locomotive. First off, this prime manufacturing beacon. Rapido does an excellent job replicating these. As you see in my other videos I've shown off, like the E-units and the SW1200, they have this feature. This is to simulate the prototype, which is 4 bulbs flashing to mimic a rotating beacon. Excellent job, Rapido. However, one thing that's a bit curious to me is the red one. The layover alarm beacon, which is explained in the operator's manual, should be flashing the same exact pattern and have the same internals as the amber warning one. It does not, and it's strobing, which is incorrect. There is an option on the decoders to change the function to match a prime straddle light. However, it will not look as good as the 4-bulb one because, there's only one LED in there. That will make it look a lot more realistic. Another lighting mistake is the red emergency light. These are gyro lights, and they should be flashing the same pattern as the clear warning gyro light. However, it's strobing as well. Simple CV change, simple function output change. You can change it. It's just a little odd that it's not flashing the same way as the regular gyro light when it is in fact a gyro light. But it's no big deal. Just small, simple stuff. I will actually probably be putting a prime beacon circuit inside this red one. They sell this as spare parts. And also Aaron Electronics is back in business at the current time of this video, making these as well. So you have options now. Another great feature on this locomotive is the automatic marker lights. When you have the headlights on and you put your throttle into reverse, they will automatically illuminate and the headlights will turn off. The rear headlight will only come on when instructed to do so on switching mode, which is great because these locomotives spend a lot of time in push-pull commuter service. The rear headlight would not be on when shoving a train, only when switching or light power moves. So you're not pressing a bunch of buttons on your DCC throttle. You just simply put it in reverse, the marker lights come on. And Rapido did this on their Burlington Northern E-units, which I have, and I explained in my video on that. It's a great feature, makes things a lot more simple for operation. Well done, Rapido. Here is the rear headlight illuminated using switching mode, which is explained about in the manual. The front headlight also comes on switching mode. I'm going to keep the locomotive shut down while I play the next few sound functions so you can hear them better. And per usual, Rapido adds their sense of humor in the high 20s when you press your DCC throttle. you'll have some funny sounds. And I'll only play one or two of those. I'm not going to go through all of them. I like to let people kind of discover them for themselves. And those are not listed on the owner's manual.
Metra commuters, your attention please. The next Metra train approaching your station will be a Metra Express train and will not stop. Baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago? That's the most asinine marketing I've ever heard of. One ball, one strike. These guys say, well, you sing about Cracker Jack. I said that I only sing it because it's in the song.
As you can see, Rapido has a lot of funny sounds. I love the Sweet Home Chicago, as this is a Chicago commuter unit. I'm really glad that's on there. Let's do some run-bys at this locomotive, and we'll also show some other sound functions, such as HEP mode, standby mode, some other neat stuff, so stay tuned. Another neat sound feature this locomotive has is flange squeal going around a tight curve. like to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. Us Metra modelers in the community are very thankful Rapido decided to do these mass-produced. These were only ever available in kit forms that you would have to take a cab off another locomotive and put on, or sometimes they had a whole replacement. They didn't look as good and they were a lot of work. I don't even know if these were ever available in brass. Now, me being a 1985 to 1995 Burlington Northern modeler, this is going to have some backdating done to it, which I will do down the road. It will require the removal of the air conditioners, relocation of the antenna, painting the black to orange, and working on removing most of the white sill stripe. Unfortunately, the Village logo will have to go, as that was not as delivered. These operated alongside the E units for a brief stint when these were being delivered and the BN units were being phased out around 1992. So I'll be able to have both on my layout, but I'll have to backdate this. I have a friend who's good at painting, so he'll be taking care of that. Have to use the putty to fill in the holes from this, but otherwise, putting in as delivered will be perfect for my era. I'm sure Rapido will offer them down the road as delivered, but for now, it'd be a fun little project for me. At the end of this video, I'm going to include some clips that I have filmed for my personal collection of 186 in operation. So enjoy those. They're from several years ago before it was rebuilt. This is not the current scheme Metra uses on these. These have all been rebuilt into the new scheme, which I don't really think is that great. I personally think this scheme looked amazing on these. So before I talk too much, I could talk all day about these awesome locomotives. I'm going to let everybody get going. Like I said, if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Have a pleasant day or evening.